Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Jake. I am an artist from Sydney, Australia. If this is your first time at the channel or first time seeing one of the videos, then welcome. Thank you for clicking play. I hope it doesn't let you down. And if it doesn't, why not click a like on the video and consider subscribing and hit the bell. Apparently that will notify you whenever one of these videos pops up. So welcome. Now, what we're going to do today is something sort of the same, sort of different. If you've seen any of the other videos, you'll know that usually I'll pick an animal and we'll cartoon it, and we'll all have a bit of a laugh. We're going to do all that, but this time I want to also tell you, give you one piece of advice that I got, or that I found, or that I saw. Somehow it reached my brain, and I did it, and it improved my art exponentially. So that's what I want to impart upon you at the same time as drawing as well, because that's what you're here for. This is what we're here for, to draw, not just to hear me babble some BS. This was requested by a regular drawer of my cartoons and videos and commenter on Instagram, Jamie Fox. Jamie, shout out to you, my friend. Jamie is embarking on something that actually I suggested that he do, which I might never make another video on, but he's going to draw the same thing every single day for 2 weeks. Yes, I know what you're thinking. What? That sounds boring, does it? There is a method to that madness, which I won't go into now, but I probably will make another video on. What I will go into now is what you should be doing to improve your art. I mean, that is one way you can do it, but this is another. So without further ado, let's draw a hippopotamus is what he's asked for me to draw. So let's start. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to, usually I'll just sort of draw an animal in a pose and cartoon it. What I'm going to do is kind of make the hippo sort of humanized. So we're going to have the hippo doing something human, as we did in my previous video of the kangaroo playing tennis. So let us start. Okay, so what we're going to have this hippo do is this hippo, because obviously hippos are larger creatures, we're going to have this hippo doing going for a workout, maybe going for a run. So I've got the sort of basic head circly part in there. Let's chuck in the body. Now here's the bean again, the magic bean. For those who haven't seen the video about the magic bean, it is on my channel. It is a phenomenal way to help you get started with a body and attaching limbs to said body. So there is our body. We may even make it slightly bigger because this is a hippo, so we want, nice exaggeration on its weight. Now let's get some legs going. It's going to be running, so you've got to think in the running pose. You'd have obviously sort of one leg forward and one leg back. So let's just get a couple of lines in here and see how this will look. Now I will discuss this tip, this one trick that can improve your art exponentially. I'll talk about that once we get this flow, maybe once we start the inking process, so I can just concentrate right now on making sure I don't mess this up. This obviously is the sketching stage, so be rough, be experimental, try out different things, try out the different poses. I've got an idea of now I have to do this occasionally. I have to pose myself as if I was running, just to remember. Okay, so if I was running, this hand, whichever hand's behind, is going to be sort of facing down. So it needs to be sort of like this. I'm thinking potentially small arms to make it comical, but chunky, of course. Small and chunky. Let's just put in a little bit of a sort of roundish section for what will be, of course, his hand slash. It's always very difficult to know what to say about the limbs when you're drawing an animal as a person, but let's just say his hands and his arms. Let's chuck that in there. So now, of course, our hippopotamus, a hippo, has a big old schnauzer. Now, I think we need to reduce this in size. let's get some sort of schnozzer type thing going here. You know, just a nice big round circle at the moment for the schnozzer. And the head's probably going to come up a bit more. So I do have a reference image, so let's get a reference image up. Maybe not that one. Let's import another one. Here we go. This has got to give us a better sort of shape, or a better idea of what we're sort of aiming for when it comes to our hippo's features. There we go. See how much I was struggling before, because obviously I was trying to do this from memory. And I don't know about you, but I'm not often looking at hippos. Unless I'm looking in the mirror. I'm joking. Okay, so let's get our hippo's sort of nostrils. Don't forget, this is a cartoon, so, you know, over-exaggerate stuff. You know, you get that basic shape of the hippo, and you see this sort of, you know, solid shape. I mean, it's got solid shapes here. This is, you know, and I always say look for the basic shapes, look for those simple shapes, and those simple shapes really are there in your face, aren't they? What I should do is let me import these so I can actually be a bit more professional. Let's insert a photo. Let's get that back, and let's put it here. Okay, and then we can say, look, here's those shapes. That big shape there. Obviously, this big shape here. You know, he's got these little. I mean, these are not the big shapes. These are little nice little ears. And then you've just got, obviously, look at that, the big shapes, those big shapes that define our hippo. So let's now hide that. Let's go back to our hippo, and let's get in his eyes. Now, obviously, hippos have those sort of bulging eyes, but we want them a little bit more, because he's being human. So let's just get them bit more like eye sockets. Now, I think what makes a nice, good, comical cartoon hippo is having nice, tiny sort of ears. So let's just give him a couple of nice, tiny ears. Chuck in the old eyeballs. Now, mouth-wise, you can go on the side here and do a mouth if you want, or you could do a mouth sort of up the front here. It's really up to you, personal sort of preference as to where you would want to place the mouth. I'm not sure at the moment if I even want a mouth, actually. I could just make this area here, reference that as the sort of mouth. Let's have some sweat beads coming off our hippo. Let's just define these arms a bit more. I'll make sure we're getting the creases in. Show that, you know, our hippo's carrying a bit of extra weight. Now work out which is the front leg and which is the back leg. The front leg is going to be this lead leg, I believe. Let's get a bit of a knee going in there. Let's define that a bit more. Like so. Okay. I mean, you could put runners on here, because obviously we've made him sort of human, but so you could put, instead of having sort of normal, trying to have those normal feet, you could, if you wanted to, chuck a pair of shoes, some sort of, you know, running shoes on if you wanted to. Pretty easy just to add in there. Just trying to think how sort of sneakers kind of look. I mean, you don't have to go too crazy on details for, you know, things like sneakers, because people get so sort of, but when people look at the character, they're not sort of really drilling down on every aspect. They're only going to sort of notice it if it looks really out of place, which what I've done here kind of does look really out of place. So let's just dial that off there. whereas this one's a little bit more subtle. The annoying thing about drawing runners is you've got to basically make them identical, which can be very frustrating. Is that you draw one and it looks really great, and you're like, fantastic, and then you just can't get, for the life of you just can't get the second one to look as good as the first one you drew. Sometimes, a little trick for you, I'll just get the lasso tool, sort of go around it, and then just sort of copy and paste it, make your life easy. Don't try and kill yourself over a bloody sneaker. So let's get the hands in here. Now he's running, so I'm really, he's got the fists going, but that one, you'd see this one back here, you would see the fingers of the clenched fist, like so. And with hands, if you want a little trick to hands and you're stuck with hands, always start with that circle, like you do with your head, okay? And then your sort of fingers and stuff, and your thumbs and your fingers just come off of that circle, okay? So, sort of just chuck them in. Doesn't have to be anything too extravagant. Cartoons, you can get away with doing less fingers if you want to. The sort of classic is the sort of, is it 3 fingers and a thumb, the classic? I don't know, I'm trying to sort of sound like I know what I'm talking about here. But, and then same if you say you wanted to do a thumbs up. So just do that circle, use your own hand as your reference, and then just sort of flesh out, okay, it sort of look like that, wouldn't it? And then you just flesh it out, like that. Just flesh it out, like that. Get your little thumb piece in here, cushion bit, like so. There you go. That's a good thing to practice, okay? Just one day, just if you don't know what to draw, if you're stuck with something to draw, why not just go, you know what, today I'm just going to draw hands. It can be boring, but you know what? You'll be thanking yourself when you come to draw a hand on a character and you go, oh, how do I draw? Oh, I know how to draw hands because I spent a day drawing them. So yes. So let's, hold on. Now, I need to sort of focus a bit on what you're doing here, mate. Get your thumb in there, get your little wrist and little bobbly elbow and all sorts of stuff. There we go. All right, now we are almost at the point where we will start inking, and then I will tell you what you're going to do, what you were going to do. You were going to do this, okay? By watching this video, you have now entered into a contract which is binding, and you must do as I say. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Let's give him some sweatbands. We'll have a sweatband, don't we? We drew some sweatbands on a creature or a character yesterday. I'm really loving the sweatbands. Now let's give him a little bit of a gap between his shorts and his top. Classic big humour. Right, so okay, there we go. Probably could have a better expression on his face, really. Let's see if we can fix that expression with a mouth. Mouth is always a good place for an expression. That's better. A couple of hairs maybe coming out of the top of his head. All right, let us ink that. And while we ink that, let us talk about the one thing that you are going to do that is going to improve your art just phenomenally. All right, trust me on this, because I have done it when I first sort of watched, because this isn't my own sort of, it's not something I came up with. I watched I think it was a TED talk of a gentleman who suggested this, and I went, oh yeah, righto, well you're already a pretty good artist, mate, so whatever. So the one thing that you are going to do that will categorically improve your art like you wouldn't believe. All right, wait for it. Drum roll, everybody. Draw. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wow, we came here for that. No, okay. Let me drill down on this. You're not just going to draw. You are going to draw every single day. Now, you are going to I need you to commit to a long period of time. Now, when I decided to do this, it was May of, well, whatever year we are now, what are we now? 2021. It was May of 2020. And I was sick and tired of whinging and complaining that my art was not getting any better. You know why it wasn't getting any better? Because I wasn't practicing. I wasn't drawing enough. I would go through spates of drawing where I would draw for, a couple of weeks. I'd get the bug and I'm like, yeah, that's it, I'm going to draw again. I'd buy a new sketch pad and pencils, and I'd get myself set up, and then I'd start drawing, and then what would happen? My drawing had not got any better since the last time I was drawing. And you know why? Because I wasn't drawing. It's like anything. You have to practice in order to get better. It seems like such a simple thing, and you'd be like, yeah, well, of course. But there's so many people out there that are or were like me. I like to think I'm different now because I literally do draw every single day and have done since I made that decision to. But so many people out there who say, oh, I just don't know how to get better at art, blah, blah, blah. It really is as simple as that. It's just by drawing every day. Like, I would sign up to countless, courses and classes, and I'd sort of, and that was sporadic. I'd sort of do a couple of lessons here, and I was getting frustrated or bored. And then, this is boring. I don't want to do this. And I just wasn't getting any better. So, as I said, one day in May of 2020, I decided, right, that's it. No more whinging, no more complaining. I'm not going to get any better. That I'm not getting any better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop complaining, and I'm going to set myself the challenge that from now until the end of the year, I'm going to draw a minimum of once a day, and for the shortest time that you set yourself a minimum time of 5 minutes in which to draw. So you draw whatever you want, 5 minutes. Okay, simple as that. Now I guarantee you, 99.99% of the time, unless life gets in the way of whatever, you will end up drawing for longer than 5 minutes. It just happens because you get into it and then you're like, oh yeah, I want to finish this. Some days you just won't feel like it, but just pick up the pencil and at least draw just something, anything. 5 minutes, draw a hand, draw a face, draw anything at all, draw something that's in front of you, whatever. Don't like that hand. So it's as simple as that. And you need to give yourself a decent sort of time frame. Obviously, I had the best part of a year. I was like, I'm going to do this every day until the end of the year, and I did. And I swear to God, within that year, because when I started drawing, I thought, oh God, because I just never thought I was good enough to be paid to do art. I just thought it was just, this is always going to be a hobby. No one will ever pay me to do art. That's the end of it. Now, once I made that decision, it only took a couple of months till I was at the point where I was actually selling art, and I joined Fiverr. That's again another topic altogether, but I joined Fiverr, and I became a rated 1 seller in a matter of, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks, and I'd made I think it was just under $2,000 in selling art, or doing commissions, which was just like mind blowing for me. I just thought that was just never going to happen for me. Someone was never going to pay me for art. And now, I have companies contacting me, asking me to do drawings for them. And I just never thought that would ever be possible. And it's only possible because I decided to make that one decision that I was going to draw every single day without fail. And since that day, I have done, and I haven't, I literally draw every single day without fail. I draw something. At the moment, it's these not tutorials, which is fine, which is great. I love doing these. But again, it just gives me that extra reason to draw something. And I'm drawing things that I haven't drawn before, and that's the thing. It's a case of just doing it. and you will improve. You'll have days where you just, don't feel like doing it, or, you just, nothing's turning out right and it just all looks crap. But everyone has that. You just got to draw. And if it looks crap, it looks crap. So what? Come back tomorrow and draw something else, or even try and draw the same thing if you want. So, that is, and honestly, I know it sounds like, because when I first saw it on his TED Talk, I'm just like, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? No, not whatever. This guy's done it. Listen to him and do it. And I do it. And I wish I could. I should have probably looked it up before I started doing this video, so I could, say thank you very much to whoever the guy is. If you know, maybe write his name in the comments section below. Yeah. So it's as simple as that to get better with your art. Because I do get people messaging me and saying, "Oh, have you got any advice on how I can improve?" and blah blah blah. And I literally just say, just keep drawing. And it can be frustrating. People don't, people go, no, because obviously it's like anything. There's no magic pill to improvement. It's like, the same with fitness. I mean, if it was simple, everyone would have a bloody six pack. And it's the same with art. If it was easy, everyone would do it. I mean, when you come to selling your work, clients do think it's easy, because they wonder, why you're charging so much for just a doodle. And to those people, we say farewell. We shall not be working together. Let's just give him a little pocket here. So there we go. It's it's not the world's best hippopotamus. But he's going for a run. He's doing his best. Let's get the creases. Regular watchers of these videos will notice that I've gone back to the inking pen of old that I enjoyed using, just purely because I'm still getting used to that new one. Let's go make this our reference layer down here, and let's go bluey grey colour. Oh, no leaks. Now that is a wonderful thing. This is probably the wrong colour for a hippo, isn't it, really? They're more of a... still got that hippo. Let's get that hippo back that we drew all over. It's more of a purpley colour, isn't he? It's a beautiful purple colour. Let's get that. Let's see how that looks. Jeez. You are very purple. So now, actually, I did mention that I told Jamie, who requested me to do a hippo, because he's going to be spending 2 weeks drawing the exact same thing under my suggestion. Now I've got a bit of time, so I can. Why not? Let's just put 2 in 1 here. Now the reason for that is because a lot of people go, "Oh, I just don't know what to draw," and when you're doing this, especially when you're doing this, draw something every day. You can waste so much time just going, "Oh, what am I going to draw? What am I going to draw?" People. I constantly see people going, "Oh, I just don't know what to draw. I just don't know what to draw." It's like, well, hold on. Okay, well, so that takes up a lot of your time, and by the time you thought something, or if you may, sometimes you might even not think of anything, and you just go, "Oh," and you just get over it, and you're like, "Oh, I don't know what to draw," and then you just sort of draw something, and then you don't like it, and you're like, "Oh, this was a waste of time." So if you are drawing the same thing every single day, that is completely out of the equation, and having to worry about what you're going to draw is, there is no worry about that, because you know what you're going to draw. So that's out the window. Then also, not only that, is once you've decided on what you're going to draw, you've then got to think, okay, well, how do I draw that? How does this look? How does that look? Where do I put this? Where do I put that? You're having to think of so many different elements every time you draw something new. So again, then once you've drawn this same thing every day for a couple of days, then you know where things are. Like if I was to draw a hippo every day, like Jamie's going to do, eventually he'll know, because I was like, okay, so what does the snout look like? Oh, messed up this bit here. What should I do here? What should I do there? Whereas once you've drawn it for a couple of days and you've done it, you'll know, okay, well, I know this goes here and I know this goes there. So then you can draw it doing different things. So you can draw one day, you can draw a hippo going for a run. One day you could draw a hippo in the water, water skiing or something, things like that. So you just take those extra bits that are going to hold you back. You get rid of those, and then you can focus on other things like playing around with dynamic poses and gestures and those sorts of bits and pieces. So that's why I said to him, because he's one person who's like, oh, I don't know what to draw. What shall I draw? What shall I draw? I'm like, okay, well, let's take that out of the equation. No more of this. What am I going to draw? You're going to draw the same thing, the one thing, every day for 2 weeks. And again, that's not something I've come up with. That's something I saw that advice online, and I thought that's brilliant advice. I did it. I drew giraffes, but I did it for like a month, I think, all up, which was full on. But now I can draw a giraffe quite easily. So let's give him that. Pink's probably going to be a bit close to his skin colour, really. Let's give him a nice green top. So those are my 2 bits of advice. I suppose it was going to be 1. Now it's 2 bits. So you've got 2 for the price of none. So I would say to you, if you want to get better at your art and you're not sure how to get better, just try the drawing every day. Just give that a whirl for at least a minimum of a month. And I promise you, even in that amount of time, you will see a change and a difference and an improvement in your artwork. You just will. Even if you don't think you're improving, keep a record. I started my Instagram page on the day that I decided that I was going to do the drawing every day, so I could keep a record of my drawings, and I can look back at my very first drawings, and that's how that's the way you improve. It's the same again with fitness. When you're losing weight, you take progress shots. So that because you don't always see those improvements. You need to look back at where you were, so that you can see how far you've come and just go, yeah, it's working, and it strives you to push forward. Like I'm currently illustrating a kid's book, and that's another thing I never thought in a million years that I'd be doing. Always thought that'd be great fun to do, but just thought I'll never do that. And now I'm on my 4th kids book, and I still freak out because I see the notes about, okay, what we want on this page is this, and I'm like, I am never in a million years going to be able to draw that, and I freak out and I just start stressing, and you know what, I can do it because I possibly wouldn't have been able to do that, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do that around May of 2020, but I've now had all this time where I've just practiced and I draw every single day, and I've been drawing not because I want to get paid to draw, but because I want to get better at drawing, and the money has followed naturally, because at the end of the day, if you draw, I would suggest you draw because you enjoy drawing, but you still want to pay the bills and you still want to make money. And what better way to make money than doing something you absolutely love? So, for me, that's the end goal. So the motivation for me is there to not only get better at drawing, but also to get to the point where I can make a living from drawing, and that be my sole income. So now I'm just chucking in, as you can see, some shadows here. I'm not really talking about this because I've got plenty of videos where we go through shadowing, and there goes the camera. I still haven't sorted that out. No, sorry, but there I am. Hello, everybody. So we're almost done anyway, so that's not bad timing, really. Okay, let's just chuck in a few extra. We probably don't need to go through this whole process thinking, because I got plenty of videos on that, and as I always like to say, you shouldn't learn how to shadow off me anyway. Probably the only person on YouTube that tells people that they shouldn't try and learn stuff from them. Know your limitations. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to call this sort of done, because speaking of earning a living, unfortunately at this stage this isn't the sole income, so I have to get up at stupid o'clock for my full-time job, which means it is about bedtime. So let me just bring the opacity on that down. Let's get rid of the lines in the background. Give him a few more creases and stuff using our shadow layer. Here he was saying that's got to be done. I've got to go to bed, but he continues on. See, this is what I'm saying about you draw for that. You say I'm getting set myself the time limit of 5 minutes. You get carried away. You're like, I can't leave it unfinished. Okay, let's call that not quite finished. Okay, I really have to. Stop, JK, stop, but I can't. I have to. I've got to keep going. It's a compulsion. Yeah, well, if only you had the same compulsion in high school, eh? Instead of dropping out, you loser. Who said that? Alright, there you go. Hippo, going for a little run. I hope that's helpful in some way. I hope you all go out or go off and do the drawing every single day. If you're gonna do it, let me know. I'd love to hear. I'd love to keep an eye on your progress, because I guarantee you there'll be progress. You're gonna get better, and you are going to thank me. You will. All right, legends. No, that's off. This one's on. Oh, it's the most professional YouTube channel there is. All right, legends, have fun. Subscribe. Well, you know what to do. I don't have to keep telling you. See you soon.